Hey there, fantasy people. It's Dunk and Scoob coming to you from Casa de Cog. Yes, buddy. Thank you. Yes, we are of Duncan Disorderlies, obviously, and Dunk is being disorderly. Buddy, come on. All right. So, here we go. Week 8, everybody. I'm on a two game skid. Lost 2 weeks in a row. Probably going to lose again this week because I'm going against Dangerous Knights. Man, I actually made a game of it, though, last week, despite Calvin Ridley. But what I want to talk about from last week's game is my kicker, who gave me 0 points. When I moved up here to Northern Michigan, I thought, because I'm a man without a team. That's part of why I got into fantasy, right? Because the Oilers are no longer the Oilers, and the Texans aren't really the Oilers, and I quit being a Cowboys fan when they got rid of Tom Landry. So I'm a man without a team. So when I moved up here, I was like, man, I'm going to become a Lions fan. Not just getting on the bandwagon because, like at that point, we didn't know how good the Lions were going to be, right? And so all the Lions players like Amon St. Ra and David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, all the guys I tried to draft got picked up, before I couldn't get them in the draft, right? So I picked up their kicker. And last week, I learned what it is to be a Detroit Lions fan when he gave me 0 points. I assume, that's what it is, right? Like that kind of letdown. Because if he had just had a decent game, I would have actually had a shot last week. That and Calvin Ridley. Don't get me started on Calvin Ridley. That said, I'm hoping for a bounce back game. I would call it a squeaky wheel game, but Calvin doesn't seem to care that he doesn't get the ball more than once a game. But it's a good matchup against the Steelers. They're weak at exactly what he does, so I'm hoping Calvin Ridley bounces back this week and bounces back big because I need him. I got Derrick Henry going against a really tough Atlanta run defense. I'm hoping my kicker, can do something for me this week. Because right now I am, I'm an underdog against Dangerous Knights. He is starting C.J. Stroud of the Texans instead of Trevor Lawrence. So that's good. Again, I hope Trevor Lawrence just peppers, Calvin Ridley all day. With targets, man. And I hope that Calvin actually catches them. Dangerous Knights also has Jahmyr Gibbs starting with no David Montgomery. That should be a pretty good start. Yeah, buddy, I know. And then, of course, he's got some great wide receivers. He's just pass catchers in general. He's got Olave, DJ Moore, Hawkinson, and George Pickens. So, man, it's going to be a tough road for Dunk and I here this week. Moving on, I tried to make a deal earlier this week with Too Good For You. He rejected me. That's all right. I'm used to it at this point. But he is an underdog to Peyton's Fivehead. Peyton's Fivehead had a huge Thursday night, put up almost 60 points between Josh Allen, Rachaad White, and Mike Evans. So big night for him on Thursday. So he is the 64% favorite there going against Too Good For You, who only got 14 points combined out of his kicker and James Cook. Too Good For You still, he's got Cooper Kupp. That was part of the deal I was trying to get. And then Eckler, man, got to get Eckler going, right? Moving on, Georgia Peaches sitting at 3-4 going against Slummy, who's been on a 2-week losing streak ever since I knocked him out of the undefeated territory. So Slummy got good news that Mostert's going to start. Also hoping that Devontae Adams can get going. Buddy? Okay, hey. He's still riding high on that Kelsey T-Swizzle action. And but Georgia Peaches, man, he's got Travis Etienne, which is my pick of the week. I'm saying Travis Etienne over 66.5 yards. That's my pick of the week. Georgia Peaches also has Swift. Hoping for big games out of those running backs. Moving on, Trash Pandas. Going against Jive Turkeys. These are two really, really good teams, man. Trash Pandas is better than their 4-3 record. He's got Mahomes. He's got AJ Brown. He's got Kamara. He's got, man, one of the things he's waiting for is for Aaron Jones to get going. Just haven't seen it from him yet. Meanwhile, Jive Turkeys is going to roll with Tyrod Taylor. I hope Tyrod Taylor has a big game today because I hope he peppers my boy Darren Waller with targets. I need everybody on my team to ball out this week. Otherwise, I'm going to lose again. Remember, just takes one win to end a losing streak, right? So, and to start a winning streak, Anyways, Jive Turkeys, man, I've talked about this team all season. He's got Pollard, he's got Taylor, he's got the Sun God, he's got Keenan Allen. Man, he tried to get Jalen Hurts from me earlier this week. Offered me some guy. Zay Flowers was the best player in the bunch, but the thing was they weren't starters, right? And Jalen Hurts is the number 2 overall quarterback for fantasy this year. He's been better in fantasy than he's been in real football. And so my response was like, man, he's a 1. If you want him, you got to give me a 1. So I asked for Amon St. Ra. He rejected me. But that's all right. We move forward. So anyways, he's a 51% favorite over Trash Pandas, but this ought to be a really tough matchup for both of them. Moving on, Crawdad and her Ditch Chickens. The underdog going against the Memphis Mains. Man, the Memphis Mains, man, he got 16 points out of Diggs on Thursday. He's sitting at 4-3. He's got Tyreek. There was a little question about whether or not Tyreek was going to play. I noticed he picked up DeMarcado, guy that I spent, I think, $16 on, and then dropped because he put up 0, and then the next week he goes off. That's been kind of my season, really. Meanwhile, Crawdad, she's hoping Bijan doesn't have any more migraines. She needs Waddle to get going. She needs Deontay Johnson to get going. She's had some injuries. She lost Jefferson. So she's been struggling, but she's still hanging in there at 3-4. And last but not least, we got the Texas Chainsaw going against Tiggle Bitties. Man, Texas Chainsaw, the other day I was looking at the numbers, right? She has been probably the most unlucky person this season because her points for and against, there's only like 1 point difference between the two, which means she's been losing a lot of really close games. Every week, she beat most people in the league, just not the person she's playing that week. And we all know that feeling, and it sucks, especially when it keeps on happening. So she's sitting at 2-5 going against Tiggle Bitties, who's 5-2. Tiggle Bitties lost his first 2 games, has not lost since. So I'm really pulling for Texas Chainsaw this week because I would like to sneak into the playoffs. So Texas Chainsaw, she got 17.8 out of Godwin on Thursday. She's got CMC. She needs to get Josh Jacobs going. She needs to get Pitts going. Thank God she's got Addison. That's been a save. I think he put up like 30 points for her last week. So, you know, she's got some guys. She just has had some bad luck. Meanwhile, Tiggle Bitties, man, they've been churning and burning. They got the 2 New York running backs in Breece Hall and Saquon Barkley. Got Thielen. Man, old man Thielen. What's going on, dude? By the way, can you see my breath? It's really cold in the house today. I just turned on the heater. We're not moved in yet, but I get better internet up here. Anyways, and of course, Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar Chase could be drastically affected by how Burrow plays, all that sort of stuff. But anyways, he's a 51% favorite over Texas Chainsaw. Those are our matchups. The games are getting started. So let me see your wall face. Hi, buddy.